Here in Office 5521 we will have a presentation here, quite simple, quite clear, considering arguments that we have, and we will expose how simple is to change the perception of circumstance by the instrument that you have in our environment. We will observe that you have distortions presented, and indeed you will have this by the tie that the knot that I put at my tie, the situation here, which will expose this as the moment or the fail, something that I have to expose this, how you can use this. I will turn off the television, and then you have the second part of this with the TV off, and my tie is okay, something like this. But the event happens before this presentation, but I'm changing this in the same way I'm changing the reality, perception of facts, the resulting at the circumstance. And we will observe that we have the situation compliant at the previous video as risk analysis that will present that as something that happens after this situation here, which is the cybersecurity, the fintech, the corruption, the remote access of your machine, of your system of communication or architecture of technology, the virtualization of instruments having the concurrent access as your machine or partitures inside your hard disk, or sometimes that dubious area in an analogical way at the department which is the positive one, negative one, and having the simulation of use can steal your data. By this access as virtualization at your machine, we will observe that, for instance, I'm uploading this argument, this issue that we are having on at the previous video, but we presented as something after. And I'm doing this at the YouTube studio, and I'm using my cell phone as the signal at the internet, I would say, which the provider is the communication at the cell phone. But I have the access in the same way at the internet of the house by my cell phone, And when I'm having the transference at this video using my internet as cell phone, I can switch the transference as signal by the house for the house I'm using. In the very first moment, I will put here, as you can observe, the presentation, and then I will do the upload of the video, and as you can observe, I'm using the signal as transference at the house. Now I will switch this signal for the house. I'm using the signal as my cell phone, now I'm switching for the house. Can you observe? It means that I'm having that situation that we complained before, which is my signal as cell phone, I have the house here. My signal as cell phone, and I switch for the house, and I have this interference as a box that I'm having this information or something like this. Then I switch again, and I will switch again, and I'm having only the transference by my cell phone. As you can observe, I'm transferring, uploading the video. In the same way, you can have the reversal. I can have the transference of information or access using my machine, my computer, and you have this scheme. with the remote access, virtualization, and simulation of use, and a lot of things. I'm using my communication signal with the provider, and you use a cell phone to replace areas, and you can do this in areas. You will have the first interruption and the first violation at the next door, because you in a very first moment you will do this by the Bluetooth and the remote access as the signal, the very beginning of this harassment. And of course, that when you do this, you can put, for instance, an old judge down. You can put, you can set an instability between Israel and Palestine. You can do a lot of things, and this scam is exposed. You know, unfortunately, we had no support in Brazil. We complained this a dozen times before, and our authorities don't give a fuck. You know, they don't give a fuck for the AUDIT. They are hurting the interests of the NATO in the same way. It's a top-down corruption scam. Those players are at the top. They do the hiring process, they use the budget, they have decisions against the law, against the constitution, against the development of mankind. They try to scapegoat things against others by this kind of simulation. If you are a judge here in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, an old judge, and you have the action at the local courthouse in Rio de Janeiro State, and you are under an uncomfortable situation by dialogues that maybe got invented to expose you as offering sentence decisions or something like this, and maybe you should consider have the information at the law enforcement international, and have the support properly to protect yourself, and have this a bit more solved and clear. Of course, that the criminal corruption as public corruption won't happen inside, my private room or my private life. It's a problem inside public institution. The dignity of the institution, the dignity of the justice should be confused with the lack of dignity of the judges or the institution that sometimes have a lot of rats inside, criminals, people that worth nothing, really junk and shit people. These people belong to jail. But of course that this won't happen by our authorities in the institution in Brazil, because it's a top-down corruption scam, evidence and proof that the budget linked and interconnected by the financial system around the globe, committing crimes, but innocent people down, creating big loss for company. Now you have a really big problem.